He's getting older.
Champagne room.
Oh, hit the full button.
But not wiser.
King of the world, baby. King of the world.
This is The Lefty Show.
Welcome, everybody, to The Lefty Show. I am your host, Lefty. Glad to be here with all of you today. Wednesday, the 6th of August in the year of our Spaghetti Monster 2014 for episode number 70 of The Lefty Show. We've been around the block. We've been around the block a few times to the tune of 70 episodes of The Lefty Show. I thank you all for joining me and helping keep the show growing. Thank you to everybody that's been watching on YouTube. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you can go to find the show in its YouTube formation. You can also follow me on Twitter at Lefty643. Stay up to date on all the latest and greatest Lefty Show news. And if you want to continue to help the show grow, 70 episodes has been amazing, by the way. These have been the best 70 podcasts I have ever done. From 1 to 70, they are the top of the list, the best, the most fun I've ever had, and and really the most fun I've ever had producing a show or being part of a show or speaking on subjects or anything like that. I don't know. The episodes where I was sick kind of sucked, but even then, I think 1 to 70... Episodes number 1 to 70 of The Lefty Show, best podcasts I've ever done, at least from my perspective. I know some people are going to say, oh, I like this, I like that. I understand you like what you like, but in terms, from me sitting behind the microphone, as opposed to you hearing the microphone, from behind the microphone, I've had the best time, and I've felt the most productive creating these 70 episodes, these first 70 episodes of The Lefty Show. And I hope you'll stick around. I thank everybody for sticking around, and I hope you will continue to stick around as we continue on, soldier onward with the show, and continue to grow and cultivate an audience. And if you want to help the show grow, a great way to do that is to share the show with friends and family and perhaps coworkers too. Boss, get in here. Listen to the show. Oh, hello, I'm here. No, not you. You're not my boss, you jackass. Yeah, but I haven't been around for a while. Yeah, I know you haven't. I know, Eugene, you bastard. I thought you were dead. No, I'm not dead. If you want to do that, you can help out the show. Head on over. Tell people to head on over. You can head on over to leftyshow.podbean.com to manually subscribe to the RSS feed. Or if you want to, if you're on Android, head on over to your favorite Android podcasting app of choice. Search The Lefty Show. You'll find us there. Or go to the iTunes store, search The Lefty Show. Be sure to subscribe to the feed there. Leave a rating on the feed, if you please. Growing the show everywhere, slowly taking over the world. If you also want to help out the show, you can head on over to imraising.com/643 Productions. That's imraising.com/643 Productions. So 70 episodes, huh? This has been crazy. This has been, I didn't know that the show would be viable. I mean, I know that once a week podcasts are a big deal, and that's what a lot of people tend to do. A lot of great shows are like that. A lot of great podcasts are on a once a week format. But I thought it would be better for me, and perhaps it's a wave of the future, to be more on instead of a weekly setting, be more of daily. If I can muster daily 4 to 5 episodes a week or a minimum of 3 episodes a week, I think that's better than a once a week setup. And you guys have responded very well. All of you listening to the show have been absolutely amazing in that. And I thank all of you for helping the show, reinforcing my ideals in creating the show in the shadow of the likes of Adam Carolla and Joe Rogan Experience and just general radio kind of thing. I thank you all for helping me continue the show, and I thank you all for keeping the show going for 70 episodes. It's crazy. It won't be too long until we're at episode number 100, which usually takes weekly podcasts a long-ass time to get to, but it'll take me 2 months, 3 months maybe. Actually, no, more than 3 months because, oh, man, math. But it'll take me less than 6 months to get to episode number 100, and that'll be cool. That'll be a great milestone to hit. So I thank you all for being with The Lefty Show. I thank you all for joining. And I thank you all for continuing with the Lefty Show. Now, a bit of a somber note today. I just learned this. I didn't know. Today, the 6th of August, marks the 69th anniversary of the Hiroshima bombing. 69 years ago today. 69. Celebrated episode 69 yesterday. 69. 69 years ago today, in an instant, 80,000 people, 80,000 civilians lost their lives. 80,000 civilians lost their lives. I rip a lot on Israel and Hamas to people are like, why, if you go against Israel, you're anti-Semitic. And I say, no. Hamas is fucked up too. And it's not just, I'll point out Israel's fuck-ups, but just because I point out Israel's fuck-ups and I don't in the same breath point out Hamas being shitty doesn't mean that Hamas isn't shitty. Doesn't mean that I'm like, oh, Hamas is great. No. They're both assholes in this context. But talking specifically about Israel because they say just some of the damnedest things. You know that show, Kids Say the Damnedest Things? Israel's like that, but they're a country or a city-state. They say the damnedest things, and you, again, the great show, I got to get this show off the ground. I got to pitch it to TV executives. Midday, we could do midday. I don't care. Put me up against Steve Harvey or whoever that fucking jackass is, that big bald douchebag. No, I guess there's two of them. There's Dr. Phil, and then there's that other guy. I think it's Steve Harvey. Put me up against those. I think my show will win out. It's Imagine Somebody Else Said It. And the reigning champions of Imagine Somebody Else Said It has to be Jerusalem and the state of Israel. But, you say, the show used to be the kids say the darndest things, and you look and go, what, did that kid just say that, really? And Israel's like that, because they say these things, and it's just, wait. You said what? Concentration camps? You? Israel? Do you sense the irony there? Perhaps even the hypocrisy, because you're so quick. Jewish people, especially the Jewish state, is so quick to decry anybody who even mentions the Holocaust. If you say the Nuremberg trials are a farce, you're an anti-Semite. Anybody who doesn't immediately go hand in hand with every narrative concerning the Holocaust, and which were atrocities to be sure, and the Nazi war machine, if you're like, yeah, the Nazis, bad, did a lot of bad things, but, the Autobahn is pretty cool, man, and the Volkswagen, for the people, got some good ideas going on there, there were some things they were really close to jet technology and the flying wing. I played that game, Medal of Honor. I forget which Medal of Honor that was. It ended, you had to go get the flying wing from the assaulted a German air research base or something like that. But if you're like, Holocaust bad, because whenever you think of Germany in the 40s, it's, Holocaust and Hitler. Yeah, well, okay, yeah, bad. I get it bad. But they did some things that were admirable, maybe, not Holocausty, not atrocitistic, not anything like that. There were some good things that come out of Germany in the 40s. Blitzkrieg, although the idea of, lightning war and fast warfare, always on the offensive, been around for centuries. But you do anything like that, if you're not totally against Germany, and you're like, everything they did was shit and everything they did was awful. The Jewish state looks at you, you're anti-Semitic, you hate Jews. It's like, no, come on. What the hell are you talking about? And if they're going to be that way, and then they say concentration camps, you go, what the did you just really say that? Like, for real? So kids say the darndest things. I want the show Israel Says the Darndest Things. And I just want to be a stream of crazy shit Israel has said, backed up with other things Israel has said and condemned other people for doing. And Israel says and does the darndest things. But I poke fun and I lambast and I do all those things. But Israel's bombing UN flags, shelling UN-flagged buildings, civilian hospitals. Civilians are there, and they're killing civilians, and they're killing children. And that takes a mighty toll, and that raises the bar to, well, we thought there were weapons there. And it's like, and I give them a lot of crap for that. They didn't kill 80,000 people in the blink of an eye. They haven't. Actually, they have the capability. Israel's been fighting this war against the Palestinian or the Arab Hamas group for a long time, and Israel has nukes. Israel could go nuclear. And it's been a long, drawn-out war, guerrilla tactics, and Hamas will not stop. They've been doing some bad things, Hamas. Duh. And to their credit, Israel hasn't gone nuclear. America, on the other hand, now, of course, it was a much larger scale in World War II in the 1940s. But America, in an effort to both further science or further military science in the military-industrial complex and to supposedly win the war, snuffed out using strategic weapons 80,000 people. 80,000 people in the blink of an eye. In the initial fireball, it's estimated 80,000 people. More than 100,000, more than hundreds of thousands died from radiation in the coming years, and even more have died from cancer. All of a sudden, leukemia is a big thing now in Japan. Wonder why? And America did that. And it should serve as a reminder that you can make the case tactically, whatever you want. I'm not a good enough historian to say, well, they could have done it another way. I don't know that they could have. What I learned from my grandfather when he was alive is he fought in the war. He fought in the Eastern Front. But he knew a lot of people that would come back from Japan, come back from the Western Front. And he said that the guys that would come back were like, they just would not stop. The Japanese, those fighters, they just wouldn't stop. They would be on fire running at you, trying to kill you. It was a very, very bad thing. So I can't make the case that, we shouldn't have done it. But I think it's important to remember. I think it's always important to remember. While in a weird way, in a dark way, those fireballs were feats of human engineering and feats of human mastery of science in the world around us. A stepping stone. We had completely mastered a new wave of energy, a new wave of harnessing energy and unleashing energy and all this stuff. While those fireballs, again, served to end a long, drawn-out war in which millions had already died and, again, represented scientific military engineering feats, I think it's important to always remember that 80,000 innocent civilians died in that fireball. America made a choice. The United States of America made a choice to use that bomb on a densely populated area where they knew a lot of civilians would be. And that should not go not unpunished, but it shouldn't be forgotten. It shouldn't be overshadowed by the rejoicing of ending a war. It should be right there next to, we ended the war, yeah, and we also had to kill 80,000 civilians. And then we dropped Nagasaki too, so more than 100, probably more than 100,000 people. Innocent civilians died to end the war in the blink of an eye. Millions more as a result of radiation and radiation poisoning and the cancers coming from radiation. And again, I can't say enough. It's important to remember the bad things that America has done. Because you can say, we ended the war, honor the troops, troops are heroes. You can say that all you want. I'm going to still remind you that those heroes killed innocent civilians. Those heroes ordered and flew in drone strikes on innocent civilians, American citizens, without due process, without any kind of notice and opportunity to be heard, without any kind of trial, without any kind of detention, without anything, murdering innocent people. They may have gotten one or two bad guys, quote, bad guys, but at the cost of 10, 8, 9, 10 innocent civilians at a time? No. I'm going to remind you of that. And I'm going to remind everybody that Hiroshima, while signifying or bringing an end to a very long and drawn-out war, 80,000 civilians died. And while World War II did a lot for this country, while World War II brought America onto the world stage as a superpower, we showed our ability to project power throughout the world and our ability to master our military and master other militaries and overcome them and win and fight in our strategy and our tactics and all those things. We had concentration camps too. Hitler was bad, yes. America, if not just as bad, because we weren't, wholesale murdering, slaughtering people, at least until we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we had concentration camps too. We stripped people of their rights and their property to put them in concentration camps because we thought they might be bad. Hitler did the same thing. So you wanted to cry Hitler, you wanted to cry all the things that everybody has done. Oh, Hitler was awful, Stalin was awful, blah, all these things, all these awful people in America. We killed 80,000 civilians this day 69 years ago. Let that sit in your stomach for a while. It's important, again, to always remember keep in mind that America has done bad things too and will always continue to do bad things. We interned our own citizens. We interned people based on their ethnicity during a time of war. Now, it was actually a declaration of war, but we still had concentration camps, and we still murdered hundreds of thousands of civilians in just two acts. Not prolonged campaigns, not anything like that. In 2 strategic acts, we murdered more than 100,000 people, 100,000 innocent people. We had concentration camps, and we continue to murder innocent civilians under the guise of war. Not even a declaration of war this time. Everybody needs to remember that. Continue with your hagiography of heroes, of the military, of servicemen and women, but keep in mind, America can do just as bad things as other people paint bad things being done to America. 80,000 people dead 69 years ago in the blink of an eye. Must have been crazy. Must have been absolutely crazy to see that happen. A towering fireball. Towering fireball. And, it's sickening. It's sickening, and nobody should forget it. Now, after we've had that brief moment, that brief interlude of sadness, here's something that'll brighten your spirits. At least it brightened mine. This is from pbs.org. I found this on Reddit. This will make you feel, because now you're thinking, oh my God, the atrocities committed, and we can be so awful to each other. Here's something that will make you feel small. And while feeling small, it may be daunting. It may make you feel overcome with grief or anxiety about things. But to me, I find it liberating. I find the idea that, I find comfort in the notion that I'm insignificant. That the things that I think are really important aren't. The things that I think need to happen, and oh my God, this has, and that, and this is important, and that's got to happen. They don't. None of it matters. Here's a story called Collapsing 4D Star Could Have Spawned Universe. There could be a gaping hole in the Big Bang Theory, or rather, a giant colossal black hole caused by the collapse of a 4-dimensional star. One of the main problems with the Big Bang is that the temperature of the universe is nearly uniform. If a Big Bang event had created the universe, then according to some explanations, there hasn't been enough time between then and now for it to have reached that temperature equilibrium. Here's Zia Morali writing for the Nature News. To most cosmologists, the most plausible explanation for the uniformity is that, soon after the beginning of time, some unknown form of energy made the young universe inflate at a rate that was faster than the speed of light. That way, a small patch with roughly uniform temperature would have stretched into the vast cosmos we see today. But the Big Bang, as it's envisioned, was so chaotic that few people had any idea what or from where that initial homogeneous patch could have come from. So, Canadian astrophysicist Nayashi Afshordi and his colleagues have turned to an idea first proposed 13 years ago. In that model, our 3D universe is merely a membrane, also known as a brain, floating through a 4D bulk universe. Ashfordy's team realized that if the bulk universe contained its own four-dimensional stars, some of them could collapse, forming 4D black holes in the same way that massive stars in our universe do. They explode as supernovae, violently ejecting their outer layers, while their inner layers collapse into a black hole. In our universe, a black hole is bounded by a spherical surface called an event horizon. Whereas in ordinary three-dimensional space, it takes a two-dimensional object or surface to create a boundary inside a black hole. In the bulk universe, the event horizon of a 4D black hole would be a 3D object, a shape called a hypersphere. When Ashfordy's team modeled the death of a 4D star, they found that the ejected material would form a 3D brain surrounding that 3D event horizon and slowly expand. Ashfordy's team believes that the universe, its stars, nebulae, planets, even us, might be that very membrane, and that its inflation might be triggered by motion through a higher dimensional reality. In other words, we might be living in a brain around the event horizon of a collapsed hyperdimensional star that gave birth to the universe. It's a bold claim, but one that solves a handful of problems in fundamental physics. Read Morales' article for more details and watch Nova's Origins Back to the Beginning to learn more about other theories behind the creation of the universe. Now, after reading all of that, I don't pretend to understand it for a damn minute. I don't even know. I think the whole idea of the universe expanding faster than the speed of light, that's dark energy or dark matter, right? I think that's, people are like, well, if there was some energy that we don't see, can't see, haven't seen, that would account for the rapid expansion faster than the speed of light of the universe, the early universe. And that would explain a homogeneous cooling for as big as big as the universe, observable universe is, given how long, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And I think that is what led people to that disconnect, led people to propose the idea of dark matter or dark energy. I think that's as far as I go. The point of reading that is this. Does profit motive matter anymore? If you listen to that, if you listen to that, people talking about the formation of the universe and how we're going to continue on and how we began and what may, if anything, lie outside of our universe, does it really matter if you have a big dick or not? Does it really matter if you have a 6-pack or an 8-pack or a keg on your tummy? Does any of it... A lot of people seem wrapped up in completely superficial things. Does it really matter? I'm talking about really matter in the meta sense, not in the can you pay your bills, because obviously the amount of money in your bank account is directly related to your ability to pay your bills. However, does it really fucking matter how much money you have in your bank account? How much money you will have in your bank account? How much money you have had in your bank account? How much you make a week? How much you make a month? What you do? How important you are? Your prestige? Your celebrity? Your amount of Twitter followers? Facebook friends? Anything. It seems, when I read things like this, those things seem incredibly superficial. They become immediately infinitely superficial and not worth any amount of time, not worth any amount of angst or anxiety. The number of dislikes on videos. People's coming here to say awful things to me because I left a podcast that they like. Or because I'm no longer a part of a podcast they like. It's insignificant. It means nothing. Why people have wrapped up their sense of value in these superficial things is beyond me. My value is my ability, in whatever way I can find, to nudge SS Human Experience in the direction of the course that I think best. Now, I may be wrong, and I certainly could be wrong, but that's my value. My value isn't, again, how many Twitter followers I have, my like to dislike ratio, my amount of subscribers, my number of views of video, the amount of money I have, how much cash I have in my wallet. Nothing like that matters to me. It pales in comparison to the notion even the human experience is not as big as the cosmos, is not as grandiose and indifferent as our universe and the way things move. I put my faith, whatever faith I have, not in God, not in theism, but in trying to nudge the human experience, the human project. I imagine us as a big project, and the money, the things, and the own, and I gotta have, and I gotta go, and I gotta be this, and people gotta think this about me. No, that's archaic. That's silly. Why would you allow yourself to be wrapped up in such superficial, meaningless things? Inherently meaningless. You know what matters? Matter. Momentum, P equals MV, nebulae, all these things, the local group, the galaxy, that is reality. Your theoretical expression of your self-worth or your value in terms of money, in terms of prestige, in terms of all these things is nothing. Don't hold on to it. Don't grasp and seize at it and drive for it your entire life. I caution everybody against that. If you find yourself, money, or this, whatever it is. I mean, it could be bobbleheads. Ooh, bobbleheads, I gotta have them. Oh, yeah. I think you're a little bit crazy, but I'd say, what are you doing? You have the gift of consciousness, and it's fleeting. Why would you how would it in any way make sense to you to live your life for meaningless, superficial things? Why? Dude, it makes absolutely no sense. So I see people, and people come to me and say, you've lost subscribers. I say, okay, so? Your views are down. Yeah. My channel is still monetizes pretty well because my videos tend to be a lot longer. So the ads still pay out pretty well, a lot more than average or whatever people think. They're just wrong about that kind of stuff. But even then, people are disliking. Okay. There was a time, trust me, in not too long ago where I cared about how much I cared about ad revenue. I cared about, the number that I got on the check. I cared about the like to dislike ratio. I cared, and I worried about the tenor of comments and all these things. And it got to me, and I would be like, ooh, I got to make sure that, make sure people like the video, and I hope everybody likes the video, and oh my God, the like to dislike ratio is, what's wrong with here? Oh my God. And I realize now that was fucking stupid. It was stupid, or at least silly, to waste all that time, to waste all that energy, to burn calories agonizing over completely meaningless internet bullshit. Likes or dislikes or mean comments or mean tweets. There's no sense trying to reason with people that are just going to be mean. There's no winning. There's no sense in trying to win. There's none. Just go on. And I told myself, just go on about your business. I'm not going to let you be an asshole to me, or I'm not going to allow you to continue to have a voice if all you're going to do is be an asshole. But to think that in any way demonizing me or attacking anybody else should or would matter, no. You're placing a whole lot more value on you, or other people are placing a whole lot more value on themselves than is probably rational. Because it's possible, however, the probability of it, I don't know. It's possible that we all exist inside of a membrane caused by the event horizon of a collapsed four-dimensional star. You don't matter, I don't matter, we don't matter. Shit, even SS Human Experience doesn't fucking matter. It's just, why would you spend any amount of time agonizing over things? Go do whatever it is you want to do to the best of your ability. If you want money, then go get money. If that's what you want, fine. But when you move forward in life, don't make the mistake of thinking that all these constructs of humanity are what define you. You define them. We have defined money, economy, property, ownership. Those are all human constructs. And if you live your life defined by those things, you're going to miss out on a whole lot of being a human, on a whole lot of experience, on a whole lot of different thoughts, different feelings, different pursuits. Because when you live your life defined by entirely human constructs, again, money, property, ownership, all these things, bartering, blah, 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 blah. When you live your life like that, all you're going to do is live within those constructs. When you care about money, all you're going to care about is money. I said in another show that I was told from a very, very early age, even when I had a dynamite lawsuit, theoretically, got T-boned by a guy driving for the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad. Burlington Northern Santa Fe. The guy ran a red light and T-boned me, driving in his official duties for a fucking railroad. Put me in the hospital. It just, treated and released. Nothing serious. Fucked up my neck a little bit. But, jaws of life, everything. I had a dynamite lawsuit. My dad, even then, I was 17 years old. My dad even then told me, the worst thing you can have is a good lawsuit. Because, and it took me a while to realize it, because the reason it's bad is because we tend to, again, tie ourselves to human constructs, to things created entirely by humanity and given completely superficial and arbitrary value. A lawsuit is the very definition of arbitrary value. It's valuable because, well, you think it has value, but does it really do anything? Well, no. And so when you define yourself by human things, like a lawsuit, your life becomes that lawsuit. And you rise and fall with every ebb and flow of the proceedings. And your life becomes about that. You don't want it. I mean, you may get paid at the end of the day, but those, however long the proceedings are, that's agonizing. That's awful. And so to read things like collapsing 4D star could have spawned universe, it gives me freedom. It gives me pause, and I say, oh, yeah. I look around and I say, oh, yeah, no, okay, yeah, this doesn't matter. This whole thing, these things that I have previously been agonizing over, not as big of a deal. I mean, I want to continue to breathe and be conscious and experience things, then there are practical realities that I have to face. However, spending any amount of time agonizing them outside of a utilitarian, accomplish this and expedite this or not, is dumb. And it's a waste of time. And it's a waste of your time as well. Don't let other people and don't let yourself start being about entirely human, nonsensical, artificial things. There are other things that many, 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 many trillions upon trillions of things that exist outside of us, realities that we just don't exist in, that we can't ever exist in, and we won't. So don't worry about it. Whatever, this, that, and the other thing. Don't let it get you down. Look at the cosmos. Go look at pictures of the Crab Nebula, artist renditions, and think, freedom. Freedom! Let's do some news. We got a lot to talk about in the news today. Ebola in the United States. CNN is telling you 5 reasons not to panic. We're going to go through those because they're funny. Since marijuana legalization, highway fatalities in Colorado are near historic lows. We're going to talk about pot. Artist uses DMCA to remove criticism of his impossibly shaped female characters. And the U.S. FCC asks if broadband should mean faster internet speeds. It's the news, Lefty. We haven't talked about internet service providers or broadband internet in a while. This is from Yahoo News, Dateline Washington, via Reuters. The U.S. Federal Communications Commission on Tuesday proposed changing how it measures high-speed internet to potentially require download speeds of 10 megabits per second or higher for a service to qualify as broadband. The FCC currently defines broadband or high-speed internet as 4 Mbps download speed and 1 Mbps upload speed. The agency will seek public comment on whether those bandwidth thresholds should be increased and whether different ones should be set for wired and wireless connections. In a notice of inquiry released on Tuesday, the FCC asked whether download speeds of 10 Mbps or higher should qualify as broadband and whether the minimum upload speed rate should also be higher to adequately address consumers' needs. As more people adopt faster broadband speeds, we are asking if all consumers, even in the most rural regions, should have greater access to better broadband, FCC Tom Wheeler said in a statement. Now, hold on a second. Let me read that again. This is a direct quote. Again, Tom Wheeler, FCC chairman. As more people adopt faster broadband speeds, we are asking if all consumers, even the most rural regions, should have greater access to better broadband. You really need to ask that question. That question of all the questions you can ask about internet service, about reliability, about standards, about this, about that, about relative standards given the rest of the world, of all the questions you ask, hey, everybody, should people have better access to the internet? Is that like a thing? Does that make any sense? Huh? Do we like that? Is that a good idea? Because don't get me wrong. Apparently, a lot of you like the internet. And I'm not saying I don't like the internet. I just want to know, via this official inquiry, whether it would be a good idea to give people better access to broadband internet. And the very fact that this is the question that the FCC has been mulling it over. What are they going to do with ISPs? And they say, this is our official inquiry. Should people have better access to the internet or better internet? Fucking duh, you moron. It's a complete and utter sham. I mean, you get that. There are things in life where you know the game is rigged. You know the game is rigged. You know that the outcome is predetermined. You know you're going to get fucked. In some way. It may not be a bad fucking. It may just be a yeah, I get fucked. But you know you're going to come out either lighter in the wallet or lighter in, I don't know, prestige or in dignity. But you know something, you know something bad's going to happen. If you take your car to a mechanic, you know something's going to, something. If you just go for a tune-up, you dread going back. Why? Not because you dread paying. You got to have the tune-up. But you dread it because you know that when you get back, there is a very, 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 very high likelihood that the mechanic's going to say, while your car was up on the rack, I was looking around and I saw that your brakes are going. Now, not your brake pads. Your brake pads are fine. Yes, the pads are usually the cheapest thing. No, I'm talking about your rotors and calipers. Now, I can just take it down and send you on your way, but it's probably safer if you spend an extra $500 to have all 4 rotor caliper sets replaced right now. When you go to a mechanic for even the most minute thing, there's going to be something else. And you know it's going to happen, but you do it anyway. And let's say, similarly, you go to a carnival and you know you're going to get fucked. You know you're not winning that big puffy bear. You know you're not. You might as well just go spend $20 and buy one. Or wherever. They probably cost a cent, a nickel. Right? They're big, fluffy, shitty bears filled with beads that are just going to rip open in a couple of weeks anyway, and they're going to be all over your fucking place, and it's going to be a pain in the ass to clean up, but you'll want it for some god-awful reason. So you go to the Midway and you're trying to play games, but you know you're going to lose. You know you're not making that basket. You know you're not. You know you're not going to be able to bounce the ball off the little plywood thing and make it into the basket, or you know you're not going to be able to toss the ball into the wicker basket or the apple basket that's just oriented just so. You know you're not going to take the sledgehammer and make the little lights go all the way up to the top. You know all these things. But you do it anyway. And it's a foregone conclusion that you're going to get fucked. You go into a casino hoping to win, But if you're realistic, you know you're going to get screwed. You know you're losing. You know you're playing a losing game. The best for the highest for one of the highest forms of winning is just breaking even in a casino. That should tell you what it's like going into scenarios where you know you're going to lose. You know you're going to walk into a casino and 4 hours later you're going to be like, holy shit, I broke even. And it's going to be like winning the lottery for you. The very fact that the FCC, Tom Wheeler, who was the head of a broadband internet company lobby group, is now the head of the FCC. And now the FCC is determining what to do and how to talk or how to treat internet service providers. And you know it's a rigged game, but we listen anyway. We cover it anyway. We hope, oh, maybe this time, maybe, just maybe, the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, you worka for me. You worka for me, an arm of the government. We are the government. We constitute the government. We allow it to exist. You worka for me. Not why... Exactly why the FCC would have anything to do with cable lobby groups is beyond me. The cable lobby groups are not your constituents. Yeah, they donated, and how companies can donate nearly unlimited capital to politicians is beyond me. How we've let it get this far, how we've let the game become this rigged is, to be honest, it's a little bit scary. Because we had a great idea. We had a great idea in, a democratic republic. We're not a strict one-to-one democracy. I don't have direct say in bill HR blah 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 passing. I don't have a vote. I have a representative, and I can call the representative and tell them what I have to say about this or that. And you, if you live in America or are a United States citizen, you have a representative. They don't just care about you. They care about, well, a larger group of people, but not everybody. There's other people that are responsible for other chunks. And it's kind of it's a good idea. It's a whittling down of voices. But the base of that tree are the people of the United States of America. Not Comcast, not Time Warner Cable, not Cox Communications, not Verizon. Not anybody, not Monsanto, not this or that, not General Motors, not Big Tobacco. The people are the constituents. How we've allowed the very idea that a guy who was the top lobbyist for internet service providers is now the head of the Federal Communications Commission deciding on how to treat cable internet providers. How have we allowed that to happen? Why, we're like, oh God, I hope he doesn't fuck us this bad. I hope it doesn't get too bloody. Please use lube. Please, Tom Wheeler and the FCC, please use lube. Oh, please. We've allowed it to get to a point, and why? There was a Supreme Court justice who represented Monsanto in a case at one point. That case was in court for a long, long time, all over the joint. And that Supreme Court justice, who wasn't a justice at the time, then went into the political realm, became a judge, and got to the Supreme Court. That same company then had a case heard by the Supreme Court. And that justice did not recuse themselves from the proceedings. They said, oh, no, there's no conflict of interest here. Oh, yes, I did. I was a professional. I was an attorney at law representing Monsanto Corporation. I had a fiduciary duty to my client to do all these things and to represent their best interest, not to represent my best interest, not to win the case or not to do this or that, but do whatever my client wanted, to effectuate whatever my client wanted. Now I'm a Supreme Court justice, and here is my former client arguing a case in front of me, and I'm judging it. Yeah, no conflict. I got nothing. No, this is good. Easy peasy, baby. Yeah. And we've allowed the system to become so corrupt, to become so farcical, The same exact thing is happening right now with the FCC and Tom Wheeler. Tom Wheeler owed a duty to top cable companies to effectuate whatever they wanted, to expedite their wishes. Now he's the head of the FCC, and he's ruling on those same corporations and how the government should treat them. And as a result, how we are going to get internet and what kind of internet service we're going to get and how good or shitty it's going to be. And there should be outrage. Tom Wheeler should be taken from his office by an angry mob of people, grabbed, yanked, dragged through the streets. How fucking dare you? How fucking dare anybody allow this hypocrisy to stand? Justice should have been removed from the bench immediately. Oh, you won't recuse yourself? You represented Monsanto, right? Right. At one time, right? Yeah. And you all these things, all these ethical guidelines and all these duties that you owed to Monsanto Corporation, right? Right. Now you're Supreme Court Justice. Yes. And you're hearing a Monsanto case, right? Right. And there's no conflict here? No. Get off my fucking Supreme Court. Oh, you all of a sudden you're voting in favor of General Motors interests. All of a sudden, why are you voting in favor of tobacco interests? Your constituents don't like it. They don't want it. Oh, well, because they're a big contributor. We live in a system now where it's allowed for people to be open about, yeah, well, they're a big contributor to my campaign. They're buying you. And we just, yeah, okay, yeah, super PACs. Then we make a big deal about, oh, the super PAC, oh, the donators list is coming out. Bullshit. What does that mean? Oh, well, we get to find out years ago who bought what. 2 weeks. 2 weeks before the election. We get to find out who paid what for what. Yay. Good. It's a farce. We're done. So the FCC can ask all the bullshit questions they want. Instead of asking, hey, would it be a good idea to reclassify ISPs as common carriers because that would be the best thing for the fucking people we work for, the people of the United States of America? Instead of asking that, they ask, oh, well, would it be a good idea for people to have better access to high-speed internet? No fucking shit. They can ask all the questions they want. It's a farce. Our entire way of governance has become farcical. It was a good idea originally. Now it's a fucking farce. The top lobbyist for cable corporations now ruling on cable corporations. Politicians are allowed to be open about how much money they take in contributions, campaign donations, and then they blithely vote in favor of those interests. And we just, oh yeah, that's business as usual. It's a fucking farce. We lose. It's gone from trying to win the game to just trying to not lose as badly at the game. We're not trying to win anymore. We're trying to not be as fucked up as possible. It's not like, yeah, we won. It's just, please don't hurt us too bad. We're not trying to win with the NSA. We're not trying to say, repeal all this shit. Get the fucking shit out of here. Read the Constitution, MFers. Get out of here. What is this? We're going to take back our rights. It's just, can you repeal some of it just a bit, please? Because the big spiked dildo bat is getting a little uncomfortable. Can you go to a little league sized? I don't need 34-inch, 38 ounces. Don't need it. Don't need it. I don't need the Babe Ruth special. Give me the youth Louisville, please. Please. That's what we've gone to. We've gone to not removing the spiked dildo bat. We just want to downgrade a little bit so that it'll be a little bit more comfortable. It's the idea of slap and tickle, right? The slap hurts, but then the tickle. Oh, okay. You go, ow, shit, and then they go, oh no, that's gonna make you feel better, right? Yeah, but you just hit me. No, I'm rubbing it now. That's what we're gonna do. Do a little tickle too. Yay! We're not winning. It's a fucking farce. In another report from Stanford, Stanford research suggests support for incarceration mirrors whites' perception of black prison populations. Although African Americans constitute only 12% of America's population, they represent 40% of the nation's prison inmates. But informing the white public of this disproportionate incarceration rate may actually bolster support for the very policies that perpetuate the inequality, according to a study published by Psychological Science, a journal of the Association for Psychological Science. Stanford psychology researchers Rebecca Haiti and Jennifer Eberhardt found that when white people were told about those racial disparities, they reported being more afraid of crime and more likely to support the kinds of punitive policies that exacerbate the racial disparities. The expansion of harsh policies such as California's three strikes law and similar measures by other states has led the United States to have the largest per capita prison population in the world. Most people likely assume this must be due to rising crime rates, but the explanation in the prison population is better explained by harsh criminal justice policies, said Haiti, a postdoctoral scholar and the lead author on the study. So, white people, when being told, hey, there's a lot of black people in prison, white people are like, oh, so we're more scared of black people then, huh? Right? You go up to, the study finds that you go up to white people and you say, hey, black people only represent 12% of the population, but they represent more than 40% of the prison population. And white people, and these researchers are surprised when people go, oh shit, so those people are more criminals, huh? Oh, well, I'm just going to support things that keep them in prison because they're more in prison. And I want to know, I'm everybody's aware of this disparity, and I am of course on the side of, yes, we are over legislating ourselves and we are putting ourselves in prison way too much, and the idea of putting people in prison for nonviolent drug crimes probably way more likely than not increases the probability that they will be put back in prison for a longer time and then move on to more harsher crimes. Marijuana is a gateway drug, but it's not a gateway drug in the kind you think. It's a gateway to prison and multiple prison stints, which leads you to probably being a fucking criminal, an actual criminal. Because when you get out, you're a two-time loser for pot. Who's going to hire you? What are you going to do? Gangbanging or robbing liquor stores or doing this or that probably seems a whole lot more enticing after being put in prison for just, smoking a little ganj now and then. And I am completely of that mind. But I want to know, again, 12% of America's population, but black people represent 40% of the nation's prison inmates. I want to have it laid out explicitly as to why it's racism and not a culture issue. That's all I want. Okay? I'm not saying that, oh, no, it's bullshit. It's got to be cultural. It's just they're just bad people and we need to put them in jail. Look, when I see 12% of the population, but 40% of the prison population, there's something fucking going on there. Because normally you would expect it to probably, all other things being equal, 12% of the population, around 12% of the prison population, right? And then give or take a little bit, whatever. But when you go from 12% of the regular population to 40% of the prison population, well, something's wrong here. Now, again, there's a laundry list of explanations as to why that could be. Why is there this disparity? But to me, I haven't seen anybody substantively refute the notion that it's a cultural issue, that people in the black community are more likely to be of this kind of culture, whatever it is, right? And given their socioeconomic standing and the culture they ascribe to, that increases the likelihood of being an actual criminal. Stop and frisk is illegal, yes. 3 strikes is but to say, well, it can't be that it's got to be something other than a culture problem. It can't ever be a culture problem because that's racist. And I can say, well, hold on a minute. Wait. Just wait. Because you see, correlation is not causation. I get that. But when you see a big correlation, you go, oh, shit, what could that be? In the south side of Chicago, there's a lot of gun violence, a lot of gang violence. A lot of people dying, innocent people being killed and shot and all these things and maimed and hurt and crimes committed all the time. South side of Chicago, they call it Chirac. And a lot of people are quick to say, well, it's an economic issue. It's not a black cultural issue. And I say, well, hold on just a damn minute. I'm not completely closing off to the idea that it's not a cultural problem or race culture thing. I'm not saying that it can't be anything other than that, but to immediately shy away from that, you're missing out because Well, there's a lot of crime in the South Side of Chicago. Well, what also is true about the South Side of Chicago? Well, it has a large black population. Well, those two things correlate. Do they cause each other? Does one cause the other? I don't know, but to say that, well, they correlate, but it can't be because it's got to be something else. The need to appear not racist completely closes us off from perhaps actually finding something that's wrong. I don't know what it is. Education, blah, blah, blah. One problem begets another, begets another, begets another, begets another. But I want to know what that root cause is. What is the root cause? To completely dismiss out of hand the notion that it could be cultural seems a little bit dumb. It seems silly to me to say, well, there's a disproportionate percentage of black people in prison versus white people given their base, percentages in the population. I say, okay, well, what can cause that? They say, well, it's got to be stop and frisk and 3 strikes. I said, wait, how did you arrive at that conclusion? Well, studies show that people arrested under stop and frisk and 3 strikes, or people incarcerated stop and frisk and 3 strikes, tend to be black. And I say, yeah, that still doesn't answer the question. Okay, people that get stopped and accused and convicted of crimes are black, and the vehicle is this. Why are they convicted of the crimes? You haven't answered the fucking question. It's stop and frisk that does it. Well, you stop and frisk a guy and he's got an illegal handgun. Okay, he's in jail because of stop and frisk. That doesn't answer the fucking question as to why he had an illegal handgun, does it? No. It doesn't answer the question as to why he had cocaine on him. And he should be allowed to have cocaine, or should be allowed to have pot on him, because fuck it, get high. But it doesn't answer. You're arresting black people under stop and frisk. Yeah, okay. Why do they doing illegal things? Let's attack the root cause here. Again, I'll defend people if stop and frisk is bullshit. That's just wrong. That's wrong. That's not a racial issue. That's a fucking constitutional issue. And how that could ever be, how that could stand in anybody's mind, how police officers could listen to that in the briefing rooms and go, yeah, let's do this, is sad and despicable and very, 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 very scary. But again, missing the point. Why are they're in jail? Are they all bullshit convictions? Well, no. So they actually committed these crimes. The people in prison, more likely than not, actually committed the crimes, right? Right. Why were they committing the crimes? That hasn't been answered to me. That hasn't been answered. Because they're poor, because of stop and frisk, and because of this and because of that. Right. Why are they criminals, though? Why do they have the guns? Why are they running a gang? Why are they shooting people? Why are they fighting people? Why are they beating people up? Saying that it's a police action, saying that, look at the percentage of people incarcerated. That's got to be something is wrong. They're criminals, though. Why are they criminals? Answer. We completely miss out on trying to find the root cause because we don't want to seem racist, because we don't want to seem sexist, because we don't want to seem pro-rape or pro-rape culture. We miss out on all kinds of potential root causes because, we can't offend anybody. Because there are some well-meaning black people who might be offended by the notion that their ethnicity tends to ascribe to more violent cultures. And you say, well, fuck those people then, because if it's true that they ascribe to violent cultures, and that would readily explain a tendency towards violence or committing crimes, well, there you go. But we completely dismiss that because why? People might be offended? Fuck. Then don't even try to answer the question. If you're not going to consider all possibilities, if you're not going to go through and say, well, this isn't this because of this, if you're not even going to try to search for root cause, don't even try to answer the question. Don't even try. Just, there's a larger black people in larger black percentage in the prison population. Let's go on about our business. Because if you're going to close yourself off to potential explanations, then you don't really want to find out what's wrong. You don't really want to explain anything. You just want to say something and not offend anybody and sound like you know what you're talking about. All right, Stanford, good for you. All right, in other news, this is from CNN Health. Ebola is here. 5 reasons not to panic. Donald Trump is tweeting that we should not be importing Ebola into our homeland. Great. Of course, Donald Trump has to make this about fucking immigration. God damn it, Donald Trump. Please stop talking. An Indiana congressman is worried that refugee children from Central America could pose a public health risk with Ebola circulating. And the Twitter sphere is filled with people asking, quote, how can we bring these patients to America? Complaining that we don't have enough problems in America. Let's import Ebola patients. And speculating that treating them here is highly irresponsible. But the actual possibility of catching Ebola is incredibly remote. It's a terrifying disease for sure. It typically kills 90% of the people who get it. And this most recent outbreak is the largest in history. But you don't need to panic, experts say, and you definitely don't have to worry about the 2 American Ebola patients who are being treated in Atlanta. Here's 5 reasons why. Okay? Here's the thing. I'm going to read that again. It's a terrifying disease for sure. It typically kills 90% of the people who get it, and this is the most recent outbreak, or this most recent outbreak is the largest in history. But you don't need to panic. Yeah, if we lose contain on it, it'll kill 90% of people. Again, it'll kill 90% of the first wave of people, 90% of the second wave of people, but then the thing will mutate and we'll be able to fight it off, and then it'll go away. It's very volatile in the first couple of iterations, but then it won't be able to sustain itself and it'll die out quickly. It will be very effective at killing people for the first couple of weeks, then it'll just go away. But here, it kills 90% of people that get it, and this recent outbreak is the largest in history. But don't panic, and here's why. I'm just going to list the 5 reasons CNN gives you. It's fragile. We know how it works. Number 3, we have the resources to contain it. Number 4, our medical staff is ready. Number 5, airports are on alert. All right, let's go through this again. Number 1, it's fragile. So wait, does that mean it doesn't kill 90% of people that get infected with it? Well, no. But so if you get it, 90% likely, 90% mortality rate. Well, yeah. So why the fuck do I care if it's fragile? All I care about is getting it. Number 2, we know how it works. Great. Yeah, we know how it'll kill you 90% of the time. Thanks, that really comforts me. Number 3, we have the resources to contain it, which is why this is the largest outbreak in history. Number 4, our medical staff is ready. Well, I'll see my response to number 3. And number 5, airports are on alert. Yes. Attention, airports. There is something that will kill 90% of people who get it. We know how it works, but we can't stop it. That is all. Consider yourself on alert. Great. Airports are on alert for something we can't see that'll kill 90% of people who get it. It is extremely dangerous. And yeah, we can, quote, contain it, but this is the largest outbreak in fucking history. Oh, but don't panic. Oh, don't panic, though. Don't panic because large panic would be very bad. And if you're going to say that's that's a Central American problem or that's an African problem, let them fucking worry about it. Oh, you're racist. No, I just don't want fucking Ebola in America. We're on the precipice of the largest Ebola outbreak in history, and it's got a 90% mortality rate. You bet your fucking ass I'm not going to listen to you when you say, oh, but don't worry about it. Oh, but don't care. Oh, but don't worry, we can contain it. Again, so that explains why this is the largest outbreak in history then, huh? Huh? You expect me to honestly, wow, we know how to contain it. Don't worry, we got that on lockdown. Why is this the largest outbreak in history then? It would seem to me, I'm not a doctor. I'm not somebody who studies diseases. I don't profess to have any knowledge in that regard. I really don't. But it would seem to me, as close to a logical human as I can be, applying my version of simple logic, it would appear to me that if our medicine and our ability to contain viruses of this nature has been doing nothing but getting better and better and better, it would appear to me that if we've been doing nothing but getting better at treating and containing this thing, then we would never have, quote, the largest outbreak in history. Or it would be really, really, really hard to have the largest outbreak in history the more and the better and better we get at treating and containing and understanding how this thing works. If we go through those 5 reasons and we've been told we've been doing nothing but getting better at this for 20, 30 years, 40 years since the first Ebola case was ever found, and we found it and we've been studying it for this long time, we've been doing nothing but getting better. Okay, well, that's great. Why is this the largest outbreak in history then? Because that doesn't jibe with, if we take, we've been getting better and better at treating and containing this. That doesn't mesh up with, this is the largest outbreak in history. The two don't match. Which one is bullshit? I don't think it's bullshit that this is the largest outbreak in history, right? So, is it possible then that the notion of we've been doing nothing but get better and better at treating and containing this, is it possible that that's a little bit bullshit? Is it? I think it is. Don't be ashamed about worrying about Ebola. Don't be ashamed about saying don't fucking import Ebola patients into a major metropolitan fucking area because it's got a 90% fucking mortality rate. And this is the largest outbreak in history. Does anybody think anymore? It's really, really dangerous. And this is the largest outbreak in history. But don't panic. Let's bring it home. Another great edition of The Lefty Show. I thank you all for joining. I had a great time putting on the show for you. I hope you had a great time listening. Thank you to everybody for watching, liking, favoriting, subscribing on YouTube. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you can go to find the show in its YouTube formation. Thank you to everybody for following me on Twitter @Lefty643. Stay up to date on all the latest and greatest Lefty Show news as well as my musings. Get your fix there. Twitter.com/Lefty643. Thank you to everybody for helping the show grow by sharing the show with friends, family, and coworkers. LeftyShow.podbean.com is where you can find the show's RSS feed. Subscribe manually there, or head on over to your favorite Android podcasting app of choice. Search The Lefty Show. You'll find us on your favorite Android podcasting app, or head on over to the iTunes store. Search The Lefty Show. Be sure to subscribe to the feed there. Leave a rating if you please. Thank you to everybody that's been donating. I'm raising.com/643 Productions, helping keep the show afloat. Anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you next time. I'm out. Bye.
Kiss my ass, you don't like it. It's my house.